Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and yes, today we have another Bath & Body Works haul. Let's see, Touch of Gold came out. I was on a work trip and just got back, so I'm finally be able to sit down and talk about this, but that came out a little bit earlier, and so we'll talk about Touch of Gold, some Fall 3 newness, and then finally a bit about ceramic candles at the end, and that'll be the haul for today. But yes, the work trip, since it's kind of relevant to this channel, let me go ahead and talk about it, but I was able to, for the first time in my candle career, actually go visit a fragrance house, which was so much fun. I'm so grateful and thankful to have been given that opportunity through my current employer to be able to go and see a fragrance house, and it's fun because you can like see the behind the scenes of their office and how fragrances are created and marketed. I also went on like a trend shopping trip into the city where we went and like ate so much like fun food and pastries. A lot of times fragrance and flavors are kind of like tied together, right? Especially with gourmand fragrances being so popular now. So it's kind of like a lot of like drinking and eating, and like seeing what the flavor and the fragrance is and taking that in and kind of translating that into fragrance as well was so much fun. And then when I went to some like sort of trendy boutiques to see, you know, different like trends and color palettes and decor and all that kind of stuff. And so I had a total blast doing that as well. Yeah, so thankful and grateful to have been able to finally visit a fragrance house. And yes, it's also really cool to be able to talk to other people in the industry who have been like working in the industry for a long time and are super knowledgeable, and to be able to like pick their brain and network with them was really cool too. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. If you don't know what a fragrance house is, I feel like I should probably explain that. So a fragrance house is like the actual people who create the fragrances that are in our like favorite candle products and body care products. They're the ones who like actually like make the oil like in the huge vats, and they're the ones who send it off to like a candle manufacturer or a body care manufacturer. And so basically it's a business to business relationship where the like a candle brand or a fragrance brand, like a perfume, body mist, you know, body care brand, be it laundry, you know, anything that's fragrance, those brands and those manufacturers partner with a fragrance house, and the fragrance house is the one who actually kind of like creates the fragrance and names them and does all the whole like scientific chemical stuff with it. And so it's a business to business transaction. So it's weird because fragrance houses are kind of invisible to the end consumer. We don't really hear too much about them or talk too much about them. And so they're kind of just like invisible unless like you're in the industry and working with them as a B2B relationship. And so it's just really kind of cool to see like how much goes on like behind the scenes that we are like not privy to as consumers. I think just finally, just recently, Bath & Body Works has started to highlight like perfumers and fragrance houses through like the heritage collections that they used to have, but also even with Touch of Gold, they did call out the fragrance house as well as the perfumer. And that's kind of cool because it gives like a human touch to the like actual fragrances that are being created, especially in this whole like AI generated world we live in now. It's kind of cool to be able to have like a personal touch to the fragrances. And so all of that happens at the fragrance house. I feel like there's a common misconception here like on social media or the candle community or even consumers in general, just because there's not much education around it, that like, you know, maybe a brand owner is like in their mansion's kitchen, like concocting oils and like mixing the oils in their kitchen and then putting those into candles, and like that's how they're like, you know, making the oils. And that might apply to like more smaller businesses or hobbyists or like sort of like you know, like the Etsy type of candle maker that you see. And I think that is still happening because we have websites like Candle Science who do offer fragrances kind of for like the wholesale type of market. And so that does exist, but I'm talking about in relation to like the large brands that you see in retail. I would make a guess, once again, I haven't worked at every, you know, candle brand or fragrance brand. I haven't met every person in the industry who works at a candle brand, but I would have to guess that most brands are working with a fragrance house and they are not like in their kitchen like concocting oils and mixing the oils up and then like somehow bringing that into their own candles. And so I think it's the fragrance house that they're partnering with rather than like the own brands having their own respective like fragrance oil kitchen that they're like cooking up oils. And so I feel like that's a common misconception. Most of the marketing, the trends all of like the trend research, the naming and the marketing is pretty much done on the fragrance house side, and though that is being presented to the brands, just so you know, just because, I mean, I didn't know until I was in the industry, so it's just kind of like fun to actually have education around that. So yes, but anyways, yeah, totally cool. You guys know I love candles and fragrance and all that kind of stuff, so to be able to see like how the sausage is made is really awesome. Okay, now that's out of the way, let us get into Touch of Gold. This is the new signature fragrance launch for the holiday season, and they did a preview early in the week, and then the full launch came only like a few days later, which was like a really quick turnaround. And so we have Touch of Gold right here, and that's what that looks like. Super fancy shrink sleeve on that. We have like a metallic substrate underneath to give it that sort of like shine to it. In the metallic quality, there's also like kind of raised glitter and like spot UV treatment on there. That's really cool. This looks a little bit basic, the font treatment and everything on it, but perhaps they were just trying to like balance out the gaudiness of this with the more minimalist aesthetic of that. And then we just get a plain like metal lid up there. $26.95. Bright blackberries, golden orange blossom, and decadent tonka. I have burned this one twice already, and it had the thick rope like wicks on it, but they're quite small now. And yeah, this sure enough smells like so many other Bath & Body Works signature fragrance launches. Speaking of fragrance houses, Bath & Body Works did say that the fragrance experts at Bath & Body Works developed Touch of Gold in partnership with Symrise, one of the world's leading fragrance houses behind some of the most recognizable and coveted scents globally. Nathalie Benaro is the senior perfumer at Symrise who created this fragrance with her background in niche and luxury perfumery. And so she says that she can confidently say Bath & Body Works approaches fragrance with the same level of craftsmanship and sophistication found in prestige houses, and they continue to evolve. And so I think obviously it's like a marketing piece to kind of say, hey, like Bath & Body Works isn't just a cheap mall brand, like we actually, you know, put our effort into fine fragrance creation, and that's kind of like the background story with that, with their partnership with Symrise, which once again is a fragrance house with the perfumer. And so once again, cool to boot, like that they're actually like calling out the fragrance house and the perfumer, just because that so much of that is indeed invisible to the end consumer. But yes, despite all that, in great work for Nathalie to be doing that, this just, yeah, smells like another Bath & Body Works signature fragrance launch. And I think they do so much of the similar stuff is because like something, like they kind of need historical data to act on something going forward, right? Because they don't want to be too risky. They want to like tap into stuff that's already been popular and proven in the market. And so for instance, we got like friggin', what kicked it off? Open Sky, and then Butterfly, and then Poppy were all so incredibly similar, and it's just like, what is going on here? And now we have this, which is very similar to Platinum, as well as like You're Cheeky. It shares some similarities to Fairy Tale and Free as a Flower as well. And so there's definitely a lot of similarities in here, and it smells like another kind of like traditional, sophisticated, like department store perfume fragrance. It's kind of powdery in a mature way as well, because there's heaps of a floral and perfume undertone to it. And yes, it's just, I think, so similar to Platinum and You're Cheeky. And then once again, shares other similarities to the other fragrances. And so what does it smell like? The blackberries is like so hidden underneath. I think they highlight it as the top note just to kind of like take the edge off of how powdery and perfumey and heavy and intense it is. I actually bought the pocket back and I was using it on my trip, and it is just so incredibly strong and powdery and almost like metallic that it gives me a headache. It's like this and Platinum and You're Cheeky all have this like, it's like this metallic floral mixed with like a warm, sweet undertone to it, and the two clashing together is just something that I really don't love. And it always is just one of those like strong, perfumey, like heady fragrances that give me a massive headache. And this was just so strong that I had to like wash it off at the airport because it was just giving me too much fragrance all of my hands, which I normally wouldn't be complaining about, but for a fragrance like this, it was just way too much. But if you want a strong dose of the fragrance, check out the pocket back. But in any case, yes, so the blackberries is kind of, it's in there, there's like a sweet juiciness lying underneath, but you do get more of that like quote unquote like perfumey quality to it. It's quite powdery and heady in a floral type of way that's coming from the orange blossom. There's a slight metallic quality that's often associated with like neroli fragrances, and the warm tonka gives it this like sort of creamy, cozy vibe that makes it a little bit more like, I guess, winter appropriate. But the way the Orange Blossom comes off on this is the same way that it comes off in like Fairy Tale, as well as like Free as a Flower. And I'm somebody who loves like real raw orange blossoms. Living in Florida and growing up around orange groves, like the real fragrance of orange blossoms is not ever quite replicated perfectly in fragrance. It's usually just so much more sweet and pure, and just has this like beautiful, almost like a honeyed sweetness to orange blossom that's like not too overpowering and not too strong, and it's just like this beautiful white floral that is just like, it's actually quite sweet and just so heavenly in the air, and it doesn't give you a headache, at least not for me, like when it's in the wild. But when it's captured in fragrance, it either goes too like citrus oriented because people are expecting an orange blossom fragrance to smell like oranges when it actually doesn't, or it goes in like this really heavily metallic neroli type of way, and this has that kind of like headache-inducing sort of metallic quality to the orange blossom that's mixed with the sharpness of the berry that is just, it just gives me such a headache. So I can't say I love this fragrance for the same reasons I really did not enjoy Platinum as well. I got this as a reward, and it was interesting because I believe there was like word on the street that this was supposed to get a 3-wick, but we didn't, and we only got a single wick. So it's kind of cool that we got a similar fragrance in 3-wick with Touch of Gold. But I mean, this has a similar, yeah, I mean, they're not exactly the same. This one's actually a little bit more soapy and even sharper than Touch of Gold, and not quite as warm, but a similar interaction of notes exists in Platinum. Same with You're Cheeky, which I think is like, once again, a berry note and a jasmine note. And so this was from the Everyday Luxury, so it's a dupe of something on the market. Yeah. This also has a similar like berry sweet juiciness with a warmth and then a floral perfume undertone. And I can't say I love this one either. Once again, it was a reward redemption. And I was just like, whatever, just put it in there. Let's see, Fairy Tale also has a similar orange blossom note chilling in the background, which is also similar to the orange blossom or orange flower note that's in Free as a Flower as well. And I guess that fragrance is just popular on the market right now. And so let's create another iteration of it. And here's Touch of Gold. So I don't know. I mean, like, it's not a bad fragrance by any means, but just personally, I don't love it. Going on to the candle performance, we have 2 burns on this, and it was so light and weak. I was actually interested to see if this would be super strong because the pocket back was so intense and headache inducing that I was like, certainly the candle must be strong, right? And I just want a new strong candle. And I kind of collect the signature fragrance launch candles anyways, but I had this burning twice. I had it going in this open concept area, and I really just could not smell it. And so I just don't know what's going on with these candles. It feels like all the new ones just have a much lighter throw to them. And I don't know if they're putting a lower percentage of fragrance load in their candles. I don't know what it is, but unfortunately this was nowhere near as strong as the other formats. So that was Touch of Gold right there. And yes, I would have to say the pocket back and the perfume smell pretty same. The candle is dulled a little bit, and it's a little bit more warmer and creamy and less on that sharp sort of neroli orange blossom note. So I actually kind of appreciated that this one had a little bit more of a balance, or like a warmer balance to it, but nonetheless it was still very, very light that it was just like, yeah, no. Okay, so that was Touch of Gold. Cool. Okay. Let's see. Once again, even with all that like critique, I still enjoy and look forward to smelling new single fragrance launches, especially because they always get like a crazy marketing push and imagery for it, that I still really enjoy the idea of a single fragrance launch and still going into the store and looking forward to it. I guess what I grow tired of is just the similarities and the redundancy between the single fragrance launches, because it's kind of like once something hits really well, they kind of like chase that for a while until they finally go on to a new type of fragrance. So yes. Okay. Fall 3 has a slew of new candles out, but of course they're all repackaged. Actually, even this one supposedly new one, I would also guess that it's a repackage as well. But I did pick out the one new one, and that is the Cozy Flannel and Vanilla in this collection. And that's what that looks like. It has like a scroll floral pattern on it. And then we have a kind of strangely mismatched geometric lid design, which actually was the ones that used on like Be Joyful from like, I don't know, 2015 or something like that. So super weird to see this like lid introduced again. I think like the original Champagne Toast from like 2014 or something in the yellow packaging also had this lid on it. So just so weird for them to like go back in the vault from like 10 years and like pick these lids out. And it's just weird that this is like so heartily geometric, and then the design here is very like soft and floral scroll pattern. I don't know, whatever. The other candles in the collection, there's Leaves, Sweet Cinnamon Pumpkin, I think Frosted Cranberry, Cuddle Weather seems to be an online exclusive for the time being. And then there's the other collection, which has like a solid wrap on it, but it's a two-sided shrink sleeve. So the inside actually has this really beautiful floral botanical pattern that kind of glows and illuminates through the front solid color, which is kind of cool because it looks boring on the front, but once it's illuminated and you see the inside, it's actually really cool. And I really wanted to pick one up from that collection, but of course they're all repackages again, and I don't need Spice Apple Toddy, especially when Leaves is out like in the Counterpart collection alongside it. Like what? Vanilla Birch, Bow Ties and Bourbon, which hasn't been out for a while, but I'm just not a huge fan of those cologne type of fragrances, so I didn't need that. There was speculation that there's some other fourth one in that collection in a different color, but we have not seen it surfaced or anything like that, so I'm not even sure if that will actually go through. But it is weird that there's only like 3 in that collection, and I suspect maybe there was supposed to be another one, especially the way you see the table laid out, but whatever. All repackages there, so bummer. So Cozy, Flannel, and Vanilla. This reads, your favorite flannel, toasted vanilla, and rich woods. This is $27.95, whereas Touch of Gold was still $26.95. I have burned this one once. It has the thick rope-like wicks on it, and you can see that right there. And when I saw this name, I was like, oh my God, this has got to be Cypress and Amber, right? Because when I had first hauled and reviewed Cypress and Amber when it came out in that dark green packaging in the Neutrals collection, I was like, this smells like a mashup of flannel with Marshmallow Fireside. And it's specifically kind of that sort of like crystallized, toasted marshmallow vanilla amber note that's in Marshmallow Fireside that comes up in so many different candles from Bath & Body Works. So there must be some type of like, whatever that chemical is that makes up that sort of like toasted, velvety, marshmallow, vanilla note must be like so prevalent in all these candles because they smell like identical, that base. And so that base also shows up, I was just talking about it in context of the Sugared Pine Needles candle that I had just reviewed, and also Iced Vanilla Woods as well, which this also has a vanilla and ebony wood note, and then lavender. And boy, I mean, it is exactly that same like sort of Marshmallow Fireside, like sort of toasted amber vanilla note that is so beautiful. I freaking love it. It's like one of my favorite like vanilla textures that Bath & Body Works uses. It is very prevalent in here, very prevalent in Cypress and Amber, also in Blush Poinsettia, which was like a rosewater and ivy plus that Marshmallow Fireside vanilla note. We also had fragrances like Balsam and Birch, which then got repackaged as White Balsam and Vanilla. Has a very similar toasted sort of woodsy vanilla undertone in there as well. Balsam and Birch, the like sort of the birch woodsiness gives it a little bit more of a woods edge to it, but still had a similar type of like sort of toasty vanilla undertone that I freaking love. It's a gorgeous like blender. And so like all these fragrances must like somehow have that same chemical in there. And Cozy and Flannel and Vanilla, sure enough, like when you smell it, gosh, like, is this Cypress and Amber? I don't have Cypress and Amber anymore because I like burned it and used it up. I wish I did to compare it, but I mean, this smells just like how I remember Cypress and Amber to be, but also has such similarities to the Balsam and Birch, White Balsam and Vanilla fragrance, but then it also is so incredibly similar to the Iced Vanilla Woods as well. But when you compare the two, they're actually slightly different. God, they're so similar, but this one actually has more of that sort of almost like bright, juicy, like aquatic quality that Flannel has. Is very prevalent and a little bit more sharper and prominent and cuts through that sort of like Marshmallow Fireside vanilla note in this. But I mean, sure enough, this really does smell like Marshmallow Fireside mixed with Flannel, which was what Cypress and Amber was, right? And yeah, I guess I would imagine they would be the same fragrance, but I just don't have the old one anymore. But interesting that they like like I had called out that this was a blend of flannel and marshmallow fireside, and then so many years later they actually come out and repackage this as flannel and vanilla. Is kind of cool. And perhaps when they first created the fragrance in the back end, maybe they were still referring it to a flannel plus marshmallow fireside blend anyways, and so they're like, you know what, Cypress and Amber maybe didn't hit like we wanted it to. Let us try to repackage this as cozy flannel and vanilla to ride the popularity of the flannel fragrance. But yeah. And I enjoy the fragrance. Once again, I made the reference that it kind of smells like a boys' locker room from like gym class back in, you know, middle and high school. And I kind of still stand by that. But the issue with this is I burned it once and it was like drowning quite a bit. And then it was like so incredibly light in my smaller bedroom. And I was just like, girl, I can't smell this again. And I was just like, what is going on? I was like, am I losing my sense of smell? But I was like, you know what, let me put this to a test. Let me burn like my candles from back in the day that I know perform strong. So sure enough, I put pumpkin pecan waffles in here yesterday. I could smell it instantly within like 10 minutes, no issue. I had sweet cinnamon pumpkin going in here. I could smell it. I've had berry waffle cone going in here. I can smell it. There was a coastal capri fragrance from a long time ago that I had going here and I could smell it. And so I could smell all the old ones like I remember being able to. So it must be something with these new candles that I just can't smell anymore. And I don't remember Cypress and Amber being so unscented, but this was just like virtually no throw and drowning on the first burn. So womp womp. I'll burn this one more time just to give it another chance. If it's still unscented, this shit's going back to the store. I'm like so sick of this. I might have to like start taking a break from Bath and Body Works because so many of the candles are overwhelmingly so weak and unscented, and I have a collection that will last me an entire lifetime that I will probably never get through, that I can go through and enjoy and burn while I take a break from Bath and Body Works, because I feel like every candle I buy now, I'm just like, this is totally unscented, and I feel like I'm actually wasting my money buying these products, and there's just no value to them anymore. So totally blows. Like, what do I do when I can't buy Bath and Body Works? I don't really have any other candle brands to go to, and like they're the go-tos, and so like it would be really sad for me not to be able to purchase from Bath & Body Works if they continue this trend of diluting the fragrances. Let me know your thoughts down below if you've experienced the same, or if just my nose is getting, fatigued. But I don't know, I can still smell my old ones fine, so it's just kind of like, why don't I just use through all my old collection and just put a pause on Bath & Body Works? I don't know. Okay. Lastly, ceramic candles. Speaking of more unscented candles, we have Vanilla Bean in the new ceramic candle collection, $39.95 though. If you know, you know, there was a really good deal on many products, including ceramic candles online. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to go and get a ceramic candle. And so that's what I did with this one. Because girl, $39.95, ain't no one playing with that. Ain't no one playing with that. Okay. So that's what that looks like. There's a dust cover on it. They keep putting all this like crazy marketing and imagery around these ceramic candles that they're like supposed to be like really cool and awesome. And the main value proposition for these ceramic candles are that they are reusable, which is so important to me. And so let's see, what does the official description say on these ceramic candles? By the way, how crappy is the new app? Wow. I mean, everything just takes a long time to load. You have to like scroll through so much because it's like all a vertical list rather than on a grid. It's just like, please bring back the old app. Like there's nothing more user-friendly about this new app. And it's just like, it's really annoying to navigate. Okay. So our ceramic candle jars are beautiful and durable. They're on trend now and you can reuse them, but they're not intended to hold food or cosmetics. So here's how to reuse them responsibly. They are not food safe and they should not be used for anything that touches skin, food, or drink. Do not use a knife, sharp object, or heat to remove wax residue or wicks. Reuse the ceramic jars as desk organizers or catch-alls, succulent planters, or craft supply containers. So the most like obvious things you would think to use a candle jar for, don't do that because you're not supposed to. So I feel like most people would probably like use them in their bathroom to like hold like makeup brushes or, you know, cosmetic items. Nope, you can't do that. If you want to like use it to hold candy in like your kitchen, because that's probably where like a lot of ceramic containers would go, no, you can't do that either. As for a planter, it says you can use it as a succulent planter, but like not a regular plant that requires drainage holes, right? So it's like, well, what am I really using this for? And it's just strange. Bath and Body Works, is like, I understand they're trying to like elevate their brand and be more high end, but like, girl, like stay in your lane. Like, we want gaudy ass shrink sleeves with glitter and maximalist decor on it. We want cute critters on it during the holiday time. We want pumpkins and fun patterns. Like, if I'm shopping at Bath & Body Works, I'm probably not really going for this like high end minimalist aesthetic. I feel like those people would probably be shopping for a luxury candle brand, you know, that I just really don't put that much emphasis on the jar itself, because I just want to see a really cute shrink sleeve. And so I feel like they're just trying to transition their demographic or their audience, and I understand why they're trying to do that, but it's just kind of like annoying to the core customer who loves Bath & Body Works for who they were or are. Like, hello, like there's yellow rubber duckies as your mascot and like goopy bins during semi-annual sale. Like, that's what's fun about it. And it's like, I'm not trying to go and shop for some new like high-end minimalist like luxury boutique experience when I go to Bath & Body Works. Like, I want to be overwhelmed with a ton of fragrances and a ton of options and a ton of colors. I'm not looking for something minimalist like this. And of course, they're a brand that tries to cater to many people. So I guess there's nothing wrong with trying to do a elevated version as well as a gaudy version. But I don't know, this is just my 2 cents as somebody who has shopped at Bath & Body Works and liked the way the brand operated. And so their argument or their value on this is that, hey, you would probably spend $20 on a candle anyways. And then also, if you were in the market for a ceramic candle container, you would also spend $20 on that too. But like, that's just not how I operate. And so I'm just like, girl, I really don't need any of that. Like, I'm not in the market for a ceramic candle jar, so there's really no value put on there. And the candles, I kind of only really want to spend like anywhere from like 10 to 15 bucks for a Bath & Body Works candle. And so it's like, yeah, I don't see the value for the $40. So they actually have done ceramic jars before, back in 2014 for $25, part of the Artisan Market collection, and that's what that looked like. I mean, I feel like this was a little bit more on brand with Bath & Body Works, especially with like the old vintage sun rays logo on it, and that it was supposed to be like a fall autumn market, and it's like a cute, like almost like kitchen container, and it has like a very artisan feel to it with the thing on it, with the address. And then it came with a top, and that was on there like that. Also, initially, this did have like a string with a tag on it, which is even cuter, that went around where this like groove is, and it was just super cute and charming. It was $25 originally, but it did come with a lid. However, I think they still went on regular like sale price, and so I don't remember ever spending $25 full price for this. So it's not that they haven't done ceramic jars before, but I feel like something like this just kind of, I don't know, I just like old school Bath & Body Works, okay? And so like, I just don't, yeah. But, so yeah, this was much cuter, and I think the reason I bought it was because it was the new vanilla chai fragrance for the year, which was freshly ground cinnamon, chai spices, sweet foamy local cream, and whole vanilla beans. This is not the autumn chai fragrance, in case you were wondering. It's a different fragrance that I actually really enjoyed. Okay, so vanilla bean. We already know what this smells like. It's been around for a while. I think the last time I bought it was in 2015 or something, and it totally drowned and was like very, very lightly scented, and it mainly still smells like that. Yeah, I think so. I feel like maybe it's a little bit, like a touch more powdery than I remember it being. I feel like it was a little bit more ooey gooey gourmand marshmallow back in the day, but I guess similar enough. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because it was like totally unscented on all 3 burns. I have burned it 3 times. The first burner, like you can see, there's like black char marks on there because the wicks were sooting so crazy. And so I had to blow it out, and then the next 2 burns, I still couldn't smell it anywhere I put it in my house, whether it was my bedroom or my living room. Vanilla bean has been notoriously light, so I'm not surprised. But also, there's been like this weird rumor going around that these candles are supposed to be a stronger fragrance than their non-ceramic counterparts. But I really don't know where that rumor started, because I cannot find any evidence on their own marketing or their website that is saying that these candles are stronger. So I don't know where that came from. That was certainly not my experience, because this was totally unscented. But vanilla bean has been historically light for me in my nose, that I saw no difference. Like, I don't think this is any stronger than the other vanilla bean. And like stuff like mahogany, teakwood, and fresh blossom are traditionally pretty strong. That, yeah, I don't know where that claim came from. But yes, so that was a ceramic candle jar. Let me know your thoughts down below. Interesting thing, while I was trend shopping at the business trip or whatever, I did actually find what I believe to be the original inspiration for Bath & Body Works of the ceramic jar candles. I was out and about, and I was like, oh my god, that is like the jar that Bath & Body Works must have took inspiration from. And it was like some hard to pronounce European name, so hold on, let me figure out what this is. Okay, here we go, we found it. From Maison Porava of Paris. It's the L'Interdit candle, and I saw it just like on the shelves, and I was like, oh my god, that looks like the ceramic candle jar from Bath & Body Works. And I will put side-by-side photos, but also show you guys here as well. Yeah, I mean, does that not look like the ceramic candle the Bath & Body Works jar uses, like there? Oh, it's so washed out you can't even see it, but on the side-by-side you'll see it. It's kind of like they took a very similar, that sort of ribbed, fluted look, and instead of the square, like, plaque or whatever, they did the round embossing or debossing instead, and so yeah, I would say they're quite similar, so cool. Okay, and I think that's enough rambling for one video. Let me know your thoughts down below on Low Throw, on Touch of Gold, and ceramic candles, and also the new app. Let me know all your thoughts down below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.